morning strangers say hello to me. Tomorrow they names will wake up on the stones. We're going home and I'm a terrible liar. Forgive me, that's not the art of prayer. For the sake of the day, keep crying out. Swing the soul, swing the soul, swing the breaking soul down. Hellfire, hellfire, bring your buster. Hellfire, 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 hellfire. All the men are going down with us. Those who dream of heaven. Those who dream of heaven never last very long. The running flash and dirty sky infect my wounds. We're going home alive, alive, alive. Forgive me, just get me out of this hell. For the sake of the day, keep crying out. Swing the soul, swing the soul, swing the breaking soul down. I must be that way, lives can't hear my commands, but still I can't see the way, oh. I am the reaper, took my place in the world, that's why I have to go, oh. I think down, tell me out, who can say that I'm just an ordinary soldier. I think down, tell me out, who can say that we'll not be on the right side of history. I think down, tell me out, who can say that I can hold on to day again. I think down, tell me out, who can say that people are looking for souls on the monsters. Bring it on your bastard! Hellfire, hellfire, bring it on bastard! Hellfire, 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 hellfire. I'll never call him down. Hellfire, hellfire, bring it on bastard! Hellfire, 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 hellfire. All of them are going down with us.
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on God-killing swords. But first, I need to show everyone something. I need to show this to people for just just to show people things, because I feel this is important, and I probably won't do another it'll either be done by the time we get to the next curious case, or it'll hopefully be dead and gone. But I just want to show people this because I get annoyed by it. Keech, it's the SCP game. We all know the SCP game. I covered it already. I thought the game was hot fucking garbage. Guy said, hey, I want to improve things. I'm like, cool. I respect that. I respect people who want to fix their stuff. There's a reason I always do, Redux projects. There's a reason why I enjoy things like second editions and stuff. I think that's a really cool way of exploring, fixing your game that could really improve things overall. Where is it? Come on, don't you dare lie to me. Where are you, you bastard? Let's see through the heck. Scrolling through Kickstarter today, just doing a little bit of look around, and I found this fucking disaster area of a fucking nightmare. Yes, this is the SCP role-playing game. The exact same fucking one we covered here on this fucking channel. You can see the art right here. See right here. Everything is the exact same. But it's version 2. Now, this is a fucking disaster area. Keech, what the fuck are you smoking, man? Brother, what drugs are you on? Because I sure as hell want some. Because this isn't really even like a second edition. It's more like a 1.5 edition. But people who just got the book, that disaster area of a book, the people who just got it like 2 months ago. And now they're doing this, which I think is scummy as fuck. Honestly, this is scummy as fuck. Because the thing is like, oh, well, I thought like, okay, are they just like going to release a second book or something? I actually thought this was a completely different RPG. But it's not. It's like new artwork. It's like 2 new adventures, more drama cards, new SCPs. So it's just like, fuck everybody else who got it, I guess. Because here's the thing, like, of the clearance levels, you have level 0, which is fuck all. Then $60 for the core book. $60! 60. This is more than. What the fuck are you smoking? Like, I understand it's a hardcover copy of the book, but Jesus fucking Christ, brother. Are you on drugs? Are you high? Are you fucking stupid? Do you have problems counting? What is this? Like, oh, well, you can buy $95. You can get the GM screen and special an exclusive set of SCP dice. And it's just a set of SCP dice, not the dozens of dice you need to actually play the fucking game. Which I'm like, what are you smoking? And that's it. This like hardcover copy, SCP dice, director screen, $95 fucking dollars. The GM screen. I'm like, what? No. Retail clearance. 6 total you reserve a case of 6 total core books at this tier. 6 books, brother. They already bought their retail copy, and now you're trying to sell them again for 60 fucking bucks. An encounter, like, this is the big thing. Like, this is the encounter guide. And like, okay, I understand if you want to do an encounter guide, cool. That's a lot of artwork. That's a lot of time. That's cool. Like, that's fine. If this is what the thing was for, I would just be like, cool. Here's a little side note. I would go over later during like a weekend warrior thing, being like, hey, I think this is kind of neat. Like, hopefully he fixes something. Not an entire second fucking edition. And it's like, some of these are like, you already put these in, they're just new artwork. It's like, what? Who? And now, I'm like, okay, what's going on actually? It's by these guys called Gigamech Games. Gigamech here. I thought these were completely different people. I'm like, did he buy them out or something? No. These guys have done like nothing really. They have one thing, Gigamech, and then we have this SCP game. So I looked in their website a little bit. I'm like, okay, Gigamech Games, let's... Like, what is their thing? And the answer is they're like a weird fucking publisher for a bunch of, like card games and little war games and stuff like that. What are you? You're from fucking Georgia, of course you are. Like I understand they have a few, games, but I've never heard of any of these games. I've never really heard of any of them. Like, I understand, but brother, what are you smoking? What did they pay you? 'Cause it better been pretty damn good. It better been really damn good, Keech, because this is fucking scummy. This is disgusting. And I'm probably going to clip this entire section and upload it to the YouTube channel, because I think this is a disgusting breach of trust for people. Like, I personally think that is just, and the thing is, they've already made their money. Like, it's going to happen, which I, like, just baffled that you allowed this to happen, though. Like, just completely, like, okay, I'm done getting mad at this, because I just wanted to show this for posterity's sake, because they might cancel it. They might just make it go away permanently. But I want people to know that this happened about 2 months after people got their books. And I think that's really stupid. I think that's really scummy of you, Keech, and fuck you. So, let's get back to our actual thing, what we plan on doing today, which is God Killing Swords, a game about cosmic death battles, because I feel like it. So, as you see, the artwork is here. I don't do art. Like, I'm just not an art person. I never have been an art person. Like, I used to doodle in my notebooks. That was, like, the extent of my artistic capability. But I'm trying to learn some things, for better or for worse. People have linked me bits and pieces trying to tell me, like, this is how you do art. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell half of these people, I don't know. You speak funny words, Magic Man. So, big thing from last time, though, the big thing that I changed, I fixed this up. I made it so everything is in proper order. I cleaned up a little bit of wording, not much. Let's see, you're fine. Where is it? Yes, replenishment. I changed how replenishment works. Because I was looking at it and, like, the idea of, like, oh, well, you do this to restore just your core flame. I'm like, that's a little bit too generous. Like, that's a little bit too nice. So what it is your replenishment is not only your core flame, but also your wholeness. So if you're injured and you have a lack of your flame, you have to start using your replenishment to get both, which is the big idea. Like, that's kind of one of the driving factors of your problem. And one of the things that you're going to have to deal with is you need to make a decision pretty early on in some cases. And you're going to need to make those decisions of, am I wanting to heal, or do I want to actually get my flame back so I can defend myself? Or do I want to get my health back and struggle here? It's kind of a back and forth, and that's kind of what I wanted this to be like. Now, the big thing is, I should also put the ability to use replenishment to increase either. Now, when we get to conflicts, what I'm going to say is, like, you can use replenishment mid-combat immediately. That's one of the big things with it. Is that once you are in the heat of a conflict, once you are in the kind of the heat of battle or during, like, intense situations, you're able to use your replenishment pretty actively. The problem is if you are delaying, they're going to know, and they're going to start change their tactics. Like, it's a delaying tactic for the inevitable. Like, I need to delay until my friend gets here to help, or I need to delay until I can, power up to the very limit kind of thing. You are not doing this because you have to, because it's like, this is the right option. It's the, oh fuck, I don't have any other options. I'm going to actually increase this to 5 just because it's here. Okay. So, what are the main things what we plan to do today? Well, my big thing, what I want to get today is I want to get domains, abilities. I want to get all of this done. I want to get the entirety of Inheritors done. Now, as you see, domain here got a little bit of an update. So, how we're going to handle this effectively, what I should do is add-ons with paragraph A to Z. What domain is going to be is how you, the character, operate. How do you kind of express your divinity in a way, as well as a method for you to kind of flesh out the character a little bit. If you want to say I'm a 9.5 foot tall demigod of death and destruction, cool, you're going down in abilities for that. This is about you. This is about your expression. So it's things like having, like, oh, I want to buy an attendant. Pretty much, this is a person who follows you around personally and does things for you. They are your personal attendant. You could have multiple attendants. You can have dozens of them. But this one is like your personal. It's the, Jeeves, please fetch me some drinks. Or Jeeves, the man who can literally teleport between any two places at a time. Jeeves, do what I want you to do. Command is a military force. It's going to represent kind of size as well as strength. You can kind of edit that as you see fit. It's just going to be like if you have a higher command than somebody else, they're going to probably win. Now, mind you, an infinite army of dozens of them are going to be are going to be pretty hard pressed to lose against something like this is a small elite force. But if you say have command 3, you spent let's say 30 creation point. I don't know how I want to do the cost yet. You're going to, and you say like they're a small force of like a couple dozen people. Those are a couple dozen scions, which are pretty much almost U tier in power. Like they're going to be able to chop through another tier 3 army of thousands by virtue of just being stronger. So again, it's an expression of you. Connections is going to be kind of your connections with other inheritors. I'm going to have to put in a system that reminds me. I'm at the very end. I'm going to have to do. I haven't really. Thing is, I haven't really discussed what I want to do. What I want to call the like group of group of you all, group of inheritors. Because on one hand, I've been thinking about using the term pantheon. Because like you're a pantheon of gods, effectively, but pantheon isn't really the correct term because you are an individual god, and like because in like Exalted they use the term circle. Other times they use like band or things like that. Like it's kind of hard to really explain like what your relationship with the other party members is, and that's like something I'm going to have to explain there, which is going to be. Your relationship to the other characters is born of mutual. You've signed effectively the fucking NAP with one. The NAP with one another. It's Jurgon the Beast Hunter, is madly in love with Mamea, the Gun Witch. He loves her. He's going to do everything in her power, in his power, to make sure that she loves him. She doesn't, but she knows that. But she's also good friends with Nea, and Nea over here, and they're best friends. They're tight as bonds as possible, so they don't want to attack each other. But they're also complex. Both of them have like a weird kind of like rivalry with another person, but neither of them really want to get rid of them because they're it's kind of this triarch of friendships, of rivalries, of. I don't want it to be like you're all together because you are all best friends. It's you're all together because you hate each other just a little bit less than everybody else. Like I don't even know how to explain that kind of party. What the fuck? People are PMing me things. Why are people the way they are? Oh god. Okay. Like cult is just going to be a religious following. Domain is going to be pretty much just how big your shit. Like, I own a palace. I own like having 0 domain is quite literally saying I own stuff. People may worship me as a god, but I don't really like rule anything. Because why do I feel like it? Like again, like a beast hunt, like the beast hunter is going to be my sample character throughout this. The beast hunter has a domain of 0. He just doesn't have anything. He doesn't want a domain because he travels around everywhere, and every planet he goes to, inevitably people are going to be like, "Wait, you're the beast hunter. We worship you as a literal god of death." And he's like, "Cool. Show me the biggest, nastiest monster so I can kill it and wear it as a hat." Erudite is just your knowledge of obscure things. I don't really want to track down your, like, I am super smart or anything like that. Like, You can have a high mental but not know much. It's just you're an incredibly smart person inside your world. Having a high erudite is you turning to the GM. Like if I'm the GM, you for example you turn to me and say, Notepad, do I know about this person? Be like, okay, what's your erudite? My erudite's 4. Yeah, okay, yeah, you definitely know him, and you also know everything he is. And it would be that kind of like iteration upon like, I'm going to tell you about who this person is. And if you're like way over the required erudite, it's like, yeah, you also kind of know he is very protective of his wife because you heard it in an obscure book. You read it. You knew someone 30 verses ago, and 30 verses ago he told you that he's very protective of his wife from 50 verses ago. Like you just learned that's your natural knowledge of thing. Panoply is various goods and artifacts, obviously. Personal attendant, like this is very much how you go. This is gonna be the weird one, thaumaturgy, because that's your expression of your ability to use magic. So let's get down to business. So we want to go to attributes 2. We want to move all the way down here. We want to call this domain. God is an expression. Actually, to become divine, one must understand that they are simply a part of something greater. The inheritor's domain is this greater aspect of themselves. Domain reflects the combined assets, knowledge, and other godly aspects of the inheritor outside of their immediate control. Or representative of their divine essence. Actually, of their internal engium. So what this effectively is stating is domain is things that you have, that you've learned, and aspects about you that aren't really related to being a superpowered god. It's you just learning things. That's literally it. This isn't really too like fun and exciting. This is just things that you have that are important to you. So let's see. We want each domain, right? Each domain is ranked from F to S. To S as each domain is ranked from F to S as would attributes be. Actually, every domain is ranked from F to S. Simply having a domain is impactful, allowing the user to tap into their natural abilities. Tap into we want to allowing the inheritor to tap into it should it arise. In theory, there are infinite kinds of domain. Actually, no. All the following domains may be taken multiple times. Representing different aspects, different parts or groups that are loyal to the inheritor. Those marked as static. Actually, no, it would be We'll call them static. Yeah, those marked as stat. Actually, those marked as. Actually, no. Those. Yeah, we'll call it, those marked as static. Cannot be taken. Cannot be taken multiple times. But apply to many situations. Actually, no. So, F to S. Okay, to initially purchase a domain at rank F, the inheritor to initially purchase a domain at rank F costs the inheritor 10 CP, but every increase in rank is only 5 CP. So in total is 10 to hit rank F, 15 would be E, 20 would be in total A, B, C, D, 25, C, 30, B, 35, A, 40. 40 would be S. So you need to spend 40 creation points to get effectively an S rank in something. But 40 creation points is out of 250, which would be about a fifth of your creation points. I might actually bump up the amount of raw creation points you end up with, because this seems really low, but I'm also kind of hesitant with it, and I don't want to put in like an explicit, like, you must spend X amount you must spend X amount here, you must spend X amount here. I don't want to do that because of that. I don't want to like limit people in regards to that. So that'll be me debating on that, how I want to handle that. I'll see. I'll press gang some people to make some characters, and they can give me a good idea of what I'm looking for. To initially purchase the domain at rank F costs 10 inheritor 10 CP if they ever increase the rank. But every increase in rank is only 5 CP. So divinity. And here we go. Okay, so attendant. And attendant is not static. The inheritor is almost always accompanied by their attendant. This individual is not an inheritor, but often a trusted servant, but often a trusted servant or scion in there. Actually, how do you fucking pronounce that? I've always pronounced it scion, but I always feel like that's not the correct. Scion. That's such a weird. Scion. I always want to pronounce the C. So, or a scion in their employ. The attendant is effectively not inherent but often trusted servant. The attendant is the right hand and often the voice of the inheritor, in meetings where they cannot attend. They possess each rank of an attendant not only reflects their skills and abilities. It also reflects their inherent trust and devotion toward the inheritor. So pretty much, if you're purchasing an attendant, this is me saying I literally have someone who does shit for me whenever I say. This is someone personal, close to you, that is not going to go die really quickly. So it's you leaning back on your infinite golden throne of awesomeness and being like, "Hey, Markel," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, what's up, boss?" Like, scour the entire planet. Find me a wife. And he's like, "All right," and he'll come back in a bit, being like, "Okay, I've scoured the entire planet so far. I found you 3 ideal women." Like, that's the kind of power like an attendant has. It's pretty much like a minor character. I should actually put in devotion toward inheritor. So we want to do rank F. So actually, we want to do each rank. So rank F would be 50 creation points. Rank B, rank A, rank S. 75s. Like, they're not going to be terribly strong, but they don't need to be terribly strong. Like, that's not the point. Actually, no. We want to bring you down just a smidge. So, pretty much at 175, they're still about 75 away from you. But, like, a rank S is like, this is a scion who actually has some pretty important things about them. This is someone who is also completely and utterly devoted to you at this point. Like, this person is, like, they will not betray you. Because they either adore you or you are pretty much own them. And at that rank, they can purchase 1 S-rank skill, an S-rank attribute. That is the extent of what they have, and mostly they're going to be purchasing, like, abilities. That is what you have an attendant for. You have an attendant for them to purchase some abilities for you, and make up faults of your own that you don't have. It's you saying, "Hey, you have high erudite, please fix something for me. Like, do this for me." Actually, I don't want to do that. I really want to make creation points for this. No, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 2 ranks every 2 ranks here. Just kind of get a good idea of, like, what these do. So rank F is Trusted Mortal Servant. Best as I can. Actually, a first step, I should say, a first step scion. Great deeds in your name. Second step scion. Almost on par with a weak inheritor, but lacks some key, but is held back by their undying devotion to you. Because we want strength, power. And the thing is, like, I want you to be as an inheritor. I want you to abuse these people. I want you to be a horrible, horrible human being and abuse your friends, and abuse people who trust you, because you should be, because you are a ultra god. Like, you are a complete ultra god who can do so many things by snapping your finger that you should have the, I wouldn't say desire, but kind of the inherent need, the inherent, authority to say no. Command. Inheritors by themselves can confront armies and emerge victorious. But to hold territory and threaten multiple places at once. Inheritors raise mighty armies. Raise mighty armies in their name to fight for them. The inheritor has in their I wouldn't say possession, has in their sway a military force which accompanies them. Everywhere and is resupplied frequently. So what we want to do is rank F, rank D. I'm going to put these down in another thing. Because these ones are actually important, because I need to actually kind of put down like what the actual size is for each of these, because that's kind of important. So I'm going to put this in a second notepad document real fast, just so I don't forget about it. So rank F, we're going to have a power 1, power 2, power 3, power 4, power 5, power 6, and power 8. Yes, you're a little bit stronger if you're S rank, but that is like resupplied frequently. Let's actually, I should put in a side note. Command armies under the Scion can be of any under the Inheritor, I should say. Can be massive or small. Could be massive, poorly trained fodder, or a small band of the most elite. Their power dictates their ability and survivability in the field. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump the power up. We're going to have default 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then put you to 10. Like, roughly speaking, this is going to be like a regular mortal army. So we want to do rank C. This is going to be an elite force of soldiers. A force of Scion headhunters. And the thing is, like, what I want to be able, what the goal here is to say, like, hey, what's my, like, okay, let's say for example, like, okay, I have, I've invested, I want a rank D army. Okay, what do you actually have? Well, my army is, I have like about like 2,000, I have about 2,500, soldiers that are well trained, well equipped, and are pretty much the best of my normal mortal army. And undyingly loyal. So this would be like a rank D. Now, if you say through time increase that to rank B, you can keep that same size of same soldiers, but you're doing this. You've increased them exponentially. Like, they have now gained a lot more. They're stronger. They've gained power. They've increased the number of men they have. And, like, I might put in, like, a little bit more detail. I might actually put as a side note of, like, roughly speaking, power 3 in size is this. Power 3 in, like, training is this. The big thing being like an army can take on a pretty much a army of similar power is going to be in a deadlock. Neither side is going to win, or more accurately, they are going to kill each other in the attempt of trying to beat one another. Like they will burn each other out before they can actually, destroy themselves with it. However, one with higher power is going to beat someone of lower power eventually. You can be like, well, I have a 5,000 man strong army at rank D versus, but you only have 500 at rank A, because yeah, you have a fifth of the amount, but my fifth of the amount is like infinitely better trained than your shit. And we have guns, you have spears. Yeah, of course we're gonna fucking mow you down. You're gonna die by the dozens, and no one's gonna give a shit. Especially if I'm there. If I'm there, your army's gonna be probably running the fuck away. I mean, I know, like, the thing is, like, I know I'm gonna have to expand, like, just the sheer size of some of these armies, because, like, we consider a force of 10,000 pretty huge. A force of 10,000 is not huge here. A force of 10,000 is like F rank if you're dealing like F. Like this is a shitty little army that you have kind of in your possession. 10,000 of power 10 people are like, these guys are immortal badasses that are pretty much unkillable. And anytime it's the Shataka from Dune. Like, they arrive and everyone shits their pants because nobody wants to fucking fight that because they will die. And everyone will laugh at them because they're dead. And dead people don't pay taxes to you. So, let's see. The ultimate final move of God-killing swords. Tax evasion. Connections. So, connections. To be an inheritor is a lonely experience. To be an inheritor is a lonely experience. To be so far above many that it's difficult to relate to others. Inheritors, while maybe not being friends, understand the value connections with other inheritors. Understand the connection with other inheritors. Connections represent bonds and relationships with those outside of the initial, outside of the what would you call something like this? Okay, let's go to, I'll actually ask. I will ask a question to the masses. What would you call a group of players, group of characters that are less, we're a party, and more we've collectively signed an NAP and mutual assistance treaty to help one another. Yeah, like how do you, like, what do you call it? Like, we've collectively signed a NAP and mutual assistance treaty to help one another. Like, it's hard to say because, like, I don't want to say party and circle when it count. It's more like we've signed an agreement to not fuck each other over. Like, I've signed an agreement to where that we're not going to stab each other. But like the second it becomes like maybe we should stab one another, we'll call it for now. A ban. Connections represent bonds and relations with those outside of the band. A connection can be spent when encountering another inheritor. Another inheritor, or can be immediately used to create another inheritor. Create another inheritor for create another inheritor into the world. So what this is effectively stating right here, that last line, connection spent when encountering another inheritor, immediately used to create another inheritor, is to say there are so many fucking inheritors in the world, it's kind of hard to like keep track of all of them. And that's like, oh no, we're encountering someone. You could say, I have a connection with them, I know them, and be like, okay, tell me about it. And it's kind of like one of the, like the beast hunter, like, yeah, I have a connection with this person. Why? Well, good news, everybody. I actually went on a hunt with him. We know each other. And it's like this immediately hostile, situation is like, wait a second, it's you. Why the hell are you here? And be like, yeah, I'm here. And, let's shake on it. And now, you have a connection, you have a bond with somebody, but you've used that already now. You've consumed this ability. And since you've used this, aspect, you can't use it later. If you use all of them, you can't do it for the big bad. You can't do it for the big bad anymore, or you can't use it for this. Let's see. So, an example there. What use a field crew? I'm like, we're dealing with demiurge power. And be like, yeah, we're a field crew. I'm like, maybe this isn't the correct correct statement. So another inheritor can be used to create another inheritor. Creating another inheritor, say like, I have a connection with this person, he is my friend. Or I have a connection with this person, I fucking despise them. And they hate me and they are scared of me. And for good reason. If I see them, I'm going to beat them up and make fun of them and steal their lunch money like I did 30 verses ago, because fuck them. I am a raging, animal who cares super little about whatever the hell they think. Knock knock, motherfucker. It's time to steal your money. Demiurge tier bullshit. Give me 1 second. I need to find an appropriate image just to. Solomon David, I need you. There we go. Let's see, there should be a better word. Okay, we'll use alliance for now. Those outside the those outside of the alliance. Alliance, I can actually spell. So, rank F, you mean you have one connection. You have one inheritor that you know. We'll make this exponential to 5, so that's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. We make that 14 because it's rank F, because it's an important thing. Like, pretty much what I want to get across is that, like, you knowing these people are important because you know them and they know you and you have history, and just like knowing these amount of people are important because, again, working together, inheritor alone weak, inheritor together strong, except not. Don't trust your friends, kids. Don't trust anybody. They will kill you and eat you. And the thing is, like, connections doesn't mean allies. Again, this isn't, people who like you or anything. They could say they like you and you could be friends, but they can still be like, brother, we have to kill one another. You realize that? He's like, yeah, I know. So, cult. The Inheritor's divinity is unquestionable and difficult to encapsulate easily. Oftentimes a cult will arise in favor will arise to venerate the Inheritor and give thanks and prayer to their divine wisdom and protection. Arise to venerate the Inheritor and give thanks and prayer to their divine wisdom and protection. Cults are powerful. Cults are powerful, but often find themselves. Cults are powerful and allow the Inheritor to draw strength and replenish their strength for maintaining one. Cults, actually, an Inheritor with multiple cults have them spread across the cosmos, or venerate them differently. So what that last line is effectively saying is that you can technically buy two cults, but they're going to treat you differently, or they're going to be in like very different places for very different reasons. I have a cult on Skull. I literally, in my house that I live on in Skull, that I own residence in Skull, people drop off goods, resources, and pray to me every day outside my fucking house. They think that I am a divine judge because one time I saved someone because I felt like it. They adored me. I am pretty much a savior of humanity there. And it's like, fuck. But you may also have a second cult, which is like, this cult is literally a massive cult on my home world that venerates me as a divine being of heroism and goodness, because I am the embodiment of the culture. Unfortunately, that culture is also a slaving nightmare place, and people, slavers actually venerate me as a slaving king, and I'm not entirely like against that. That's fine. So, like, cults are going to be, like, fairly valuable, and I'm just going to do, like, plus 2 replenishment. Which is going to be small cult, which is going to be small following. Plus 4, actually, no, we want to do plus 3, plus 4. Because, again, replenishment's fairly important. I don't want it to, like, scale too hard out of control. But it's also like, hey, I got like 4 cults venerating me differently. I'm like, yes, that's good. Like, this is a good thing that you have multiple cults venerating you that adore you and think that you are a, god of gods. That's good. But you're investing in it. The thing is, too, for all of the domains, is that they can go away. And when things start going wrong, you're going to have to protect your stuff. You're going to have to protect what's yours. if you have a cult that's like a small following on, a small following, you gotta make sure that it's not actually large singular following. Actually, no, we want to put this right here, this right there. We want to make this a cosmic follow, no, it's sector following. Pretty much, you have multiple planets that venerate you at that point. Having like a rank B is saying that like the entire planet, like an entire planet, literally worships you. Millions of people throw themselves onto the ground when you walk by and worship you as God. And that's okay. Because they also don't really care. Because they're your cult. They're not anyone else's cult. Because there can be multiple gods, especially if you're in an alliance with people. Someone might say, "Hey, I am in cult, like effectively. My people are, like, my cult is here. You have your cult there, and we're all kind of like working together." And that might be a major issue when it comes down to when the cycle continues. If you're kind of sharing a piece of planet, effectively, if your people here, they adore you. People over there, a part of the rival clan, you guys are fine. Like, you guys are in open war. You're gonna start a fucking holy war. Maybe not what you want. Or maybe that is what you want. And have them start engaging in horrifying, reality-killing warfare. Am I saying that you should start a holy war occasionally with your cult? Yes. Start a holy war. Kill them all. Doesn't matter. You have a cult and they don't. They kill their... And the thing is, like, if you're targeting someone and you know they have a massive fucking cult, you know they have multiple massive cults spread around, kill them. Burn them to the ground. Find every member of their cult and put them to the sword. Crash into their home, and when they say, "Oh no, look everybody, it's the rival god, what should we do?" Grab the nearest one by the skull, crush it immediately, and then use his bone shards to kill the rest. Why? Because if he doesn't have his cult anymore, guess what? He doesn't have that bonus replenishment anymore. Do that. Start eradicating elements. Start, slowly knocking down it. Because they're going to be trying to do the same thing against you. That's why having, like, such a massive cult can sometimes be a benefit. But it can also be helpful to have smaller cults spread around. Because it's harder to find them. Like, I have secretive cults on your world. Like, I have a bunch of, like, really secret little cults spread around that venerate me as, this shadow creature. And now I have an advantage over you. You can't get rid of that. But also, if they are found, they're going to die, and I've wasted points. So, actually, we want to do holdings. I think, yeah, I'm gonna have to put this here, but, like, domain isn't quite. Holdings. The Inheritor is a powerful entity. And is a powerful entity. With power comes authority. Becomes authority. Actually, I'm going to call this this is going to be a static. So the Inheritor has a series of holdings and power bases which reflect locations and value, locations and value and parts, which have sworn absolute subservience to the Inheritor. With the death of Manon, something in my eye now. Fuck. With the death of Manon, there is little central authority. And no one can properly subjugate every world for themselves. Which is to say, the fact that you have holdings is actually pretty impressive, that you've managed to convince people to elect you effectively God King. And whether it's king or you just own a shit ton of stuff, which is entirely possible. You just might own things, which is just fine. So what we want to do is this, which brings me to the fact. Let me select this. We'll probably there's little central authority that we can probably subjugate every world. Power is in the hands of those who seize it. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do that. This is going to be a reduced one, just because I want to get around the idea that it's like you don't really need to have like a Superman, and it's just like planetary holdings, sector holdings, mass sector holdings. Actually, no, we want to do national holdings, planetary holdings, sector holdings. Because the fact that you have holdings is actually pretty good, because you now have places to set things. Like, actually, what I should say is holdings. Oh, wait a second. Those who seize it, holdings may not produce things immediately, but the act of holding on to some, of holding power over something derives benefit, loyalty, subservience, and a place to call home. Because the fact that you own something now allows you to manipulate it. And the thing is, holdings can be a lot of different things. You could say, like, this is kind of like national holdings, planetary holdings, sector holdings. This can mean a lot of different things, and I want you to kind of get that idea. These are just kind of examples. I'm going to have to probably put a note in here. Actually, I will put that, like, side note, holdings, and you. A holding can roughly translate to a domain under your to a location or area under your sway. Under your sway, I think is the correct word. Possessing a holding allows you to boss them around, demand things, and generally take a tithe. Power. Now, what they look like and how they function is up to the player and is up to the inheritor. For example, now let's actually do, for example, Lady her Grace Marias. Her Grace Lady Marias has holdings rank B, has holdings rank A. Holdings rank A. She has two planets which are completely subservient to her. Not only are they effectively a slave to her will, she also has exclusive rights to the various goods, resources, libraries, and docks. And actually, you should say in docks in the area. A fact that is noted. Because she's annihilated most others in the region. So pretty much, if you want to pass through her, you're going to have to pay. You can't pay? Oh, well, that's a shame. What a shame. Oh, goodness. People are proposing Notamon things. Oh. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see. So she's annihilated others in the region. To launch any invasion of her, to launch any invasion of the neighboring areas is to court her favor. And she drives a hard bargain. But we can also kind of do, let's see. Oh, let's see, secular penitent, Harada, of the Sacred Bell, has holdings rank. We'll do D. Holdings rank D. Possessing a sizable portion. Let's actually, would be the good man's. Person's house or home. Would be a large. No, we'll do. Okay, I know what we'll do. We'll call it an estate. Possessing a sizable estate over multiple planets, which are effectively church grounds. His cult has organized in these locations as the Church of the Sacred Bell. The Sacred Bell, hosting many events and being loved by many. Because that's kind of the big thing, is that you, even having like holding rank D, you may not hold like a significant amount of power, but you have places that are yours. If Harada enters a location, now let's say for example, you're going against Harada. You're playing against Harada. Entering these areas are going to be difficult for you. Like, you're going to have to sneak in, or you're going to loudly announce your presence, and you may not be actually loved for doing it. And there may be pushback. People may hide things from you. You may be incredible god creatures, but you're not omniscient. And they'll hide. They'll do things. They'll fuck you over, especially if they're on your territory. But let's say you are playing Harada, and you step foot in these places outside of everyone throwing themselves to the ground and praying at your feet because you are literally the embodiment of faith. You have a place to stay, you have a place to store things, people are going to be able to help you with things. You're going to have a set of people who are going to be like that. This is incredibly narrative, but it is also very important for you to understand that this is valuable. The more stuff you have, the more things that you can call yours, the less things other people can call. And you never realize how valuable something is until you have it and someone else doesn't. Because power is authority. And I need to put the side note in here just to kind of like, this is what it means. Like, be a dick with it too. Like, what would your character act? What would your inheritor? What would your... Oh god, it broke. Good start, good start. Everything's breaking. Yeah, let's see. So we got Requiem for Eat. We want to do Annihilated, Penitent, possessing a sizable state. Okay, we got that, so we gotta go back up here. We got to select all of you. Erudite. Erudite, static. Knowledge is power. And living for many verses and songs. It's pertinent. It's pertinent to understand and learn. Is pertinent to house knowledge inside oneself. But times change, people change, and trends morph alongside them. An inheritor may live to see many trends and movements trends and movements be born, live, struggle, and die as they simply go about their lives, go about their quote normal tasks. Erudite inheritors are able to conceptualize and remember various parts and aspects of their life. Various parts and aspects of their life to some degree. The higher the erudite, whatever you want to call it. The higher the erudite domain, the more information the inheritor has remembered and can easily recall. So we want to go up here, select everything here. We want to go here. So actually, we don't need these. I'm gonna have to put a note in here as well, being like, use erudite if someone asks a question. Like if a player just generally like, I don't know, like, do I know what these creatures are? I mean, like, yeah, what's your erudite score? Being like, yeah. Let's see. general knowledge of previous trend. Actually, would say is no, it's a bare bones knowledge of most things, detailed detailed knowledge on more recent events. C. Let's see. Detailed information and memory of most standard things. Can recall the name of every inheritor they've met, and can usually find the identity, and can usually remember the identity or concepts. Actually, remember the identity of those they haven't. And can usually recall identifying features of those they haven't. This would be like, for example, you encounter a new inheritor. The inheritor is standing there like, haha, I'm doing this. I would ask as a GM, all right, if someone were to say, hey, do I know this person? I'm Erudite C. Being like, you've never met this person before. You've never met this inheritor before. However, you do know his name. His name is Jakul. You know him because of you knew someone else who knew him. And it's kind of that you have some second-hand knowledge of him. You know he is a firebrand. You know he likes to fight. You know he's an idiot. And there's debates on whether or not he actually, he is an inheritor. You know that he is an inheritor, but you don't know if he kind of became an inheritor by legitimate means. You think he may have stolen a sword. You think he may have stolen a sword fragment. You think he was even given a sword fragment. He didn't claim it, kind of thing. And he's very self-conscious about that. That's all you can kind of know. And rank S. In almost universal almanac, encyclopedic information about most things. Can easily recall most famous inheritors, even minute details. And can navigate the songway, can remember most of my details. S rank is being able to pretty much say like, yeah, no, he did not get his fragment legitimately. He stole his fragment from another inheritor who was dying. This inheritor was legitimately saying, I don't want to be an inheritor anymore. I'm sick and tired of all this power. I want to retire and die. So he gave his sword away. However, he didn't necessarily do that. The literal thing was, he got his sword, he got his weapon by, quote, stealing it from someone who wanted to get stolen, effectively. He set it on a location, be like, whoever finds my sword will do it. I'm going to exile myself to the dark area because I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. And he took it. But he's still self-conscious about it because it was kind of like, to him, it wasn't legit. He didn't win it by combat, or he didn't win it by that. So he always feels a little bit like back and forth, and he's always trying to prove it, overcompensate effectively. And the person who he stole it from, he had actually immense respect for. So it's kind of like that, okay, you now know a lot more about this guy, and it's kind of like, hey buddy, what's up? And being like, fuck you, and then you start fighting. It's like, and the thing is, finding out little tidbits of information, this is going to be important, where you can actually sometimes find out maybe what the defining attribute is, if you know them well enough. Hence why you can actually tie this into your connections quite a bit. If you have S rank and a connection with them, you can ask, like, do I know what their defining attribute is? What I would say is, you know it? No. However, you do know one thing. He is impeccable skilled with arms. You've known that through every moment you've known him. You've known him for, for many lifetimes. You've known this man, and you know he trains every day with his weapons. However, what people don't know about him, though, the big thing is what he doesn't like telling people, is that he is very, very intelligent about minute details. He's the one who will analyze his opponents to the very end. So you're pretty sure his defining attribute is either in warfare or mental. You don't know which one, though. Again, but that's already like a huge advantage. Like, you've narrowed it down to 2 out of 5, which is, instead of having to guess, it's like, okay, we don't want to actually fight him using warfare or mental. We want to actually start fighting him in other things. Let's just talk to him, because we think we can beat him that way. We can beat him down with radiance, or we can beat him down with flame. But you may be like, wow, Erudite's really strong. Erudite is strong. But it's also 25 fucking, it's almost 60 fucking points that you have to spend to get it. And if you have high Erudite, you're trading in other things. And that's kind of the back and forth with it. You are trading in the ability to do other things in exchange for the ability to have high Erudite. The ability to kind of manipulate that thing. So Panoply, which is going to be, we'll call it static, but wealth beyond measure, resources beyond question, and the ability to manipulate it all. Yeah, manipulate it all. Panoply represents the sheer value of goods, services, and abject wealth. The inheritor has, while most currency is localized, the ability to quickly produce the right goods at the right place can ease over the most annoyed. Again, the most annoyed individuals. The largest advantage is the ability to either consume Monopoly to gain massive boons of wealth and goods, such as purchasing a luxury song yacht, boons of wealth and goods, such as purchasing a luxury song yacht. These are called, let me actually see, because I actually use a mechanic like this in Fate Lonely Dance, which was just, like, the idea behind Fate Lonely Dance's system was that I needed a way to actually just, you put items in? How do you put in items? And, I put items in because I needed to, because if you didn't, they technically didn't have any. So it was like, well then, I guess I'm adding something. So let's see, who you know. Background, that's going to be probably Wednesday. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, tools. Tools and equipment that's not including no phantasm, title of their being, each additional tool. Okay. These are called boons. Actually, no, we'll call them luxuries. These are called luxuries. Possessing a luxury. Costs one. Costs one. Panop. Costs one rank, not rank. Actually, depending on the rank of Panoply. Depending on the rank of Monopoly, the Inheritor. The Inheritor may start with a number of them. If a Inheritor wishes to purchase another one, they may reduce the rank of their Monopoly by one. So pretty much like a luxury can be kind of summarized as something luxurious and something very, very wealthy. The fact that you have it is very impressive, and it's something that you like. This is a thing that I want. It's a luxury. It's something powerful, something useful. It's something that really defines you. So we'll do a moderate wealth. But we'll do rank C, which is going to be massive wealth, one luxury. And then we're going to take out these two. No. Actually, I need to. I'll do it for each. I think I need to do it for each. So we want to do rank E, rank D. So let me see. This would be moderate wealth. Impressive wealth. Actually, no, we'll do massive wealth. And we'll do planetary wealth. Then we'll do sector. Actually, no, national wealth. Like, you have the wealth of a nation, effectively. And then we can do planetary wealth, which is going to be 2 luxuries. With 3 luxuries. And then S rank, which is going to be galactic wealth. Pretty much, you have more like money that you could physically ever spend across anything. People come to you and being like, "Hey, I need money," and you're like, "Okay, here's some money. Here are some goods. Here's some shit. I don't care." Like, you just don't care about money at that point. But the problem is with being that wealthy is that you are that wealthy and people are going to want handouts. And that's kind of a bad thing. And the thing is, like, what I would want to do is I would ask you as a player, I would ask you, like, okay, where are you getting this money? Like, where are you getting it? That's where things like where holdings come in handy, where it's like, well, why do you have this? Because I literally own it. Like, my wealth is not necessarily just me sitting on it. No, my wealth is invested in, across 5 planets. I am so wealthy because I have the industrial capability of 5 worlds doing shit for me. And yeah, I own whatever the fuck I want. Wealth and goods. These are called luxuries, depending on the rank. Start with number of them. Actually, I'm going to put a side note in here just to kind of have them understand what a kind of a luxury is. Side note, luxuries. Luxuries. A luxury is a item, tool, service, or thing that makes your life incredibly easy. These are almost divine artifacts. These are divine artifacts across any other world, but to you, it's something you bought. You bought or have acquired. An example, it would be a song yacht. Like, I own a ship to transport myself across worlds. It's an entire yacht, yes. Do I have a literal host of people on it? Yes, I do have 3,000. Is the crew of this ship literally 4,000 people that attend to me personally? Yes. Let's see, alchemical lab. What would be some other good ones of just shit that you'd want to buy? Yeah. Let's see, we want to do songstrider, guild attendants. Seeing eye orb. What would be some other crazy weird magic items I can think of? Yes. These would be another good service. I think I need one more service and I'd be happy with it. It would be something crazy, large, and divine. It would be... No. This would be... a magisterial. Magisterial... strict magistrates. Strict magistrates. So, effectively, you use your luxuries to buy things to make your life easy. If you have, like, an insane amount of wealth, and the thing is, like, if you were to say, like, I'm going to purchase a big amount of wealth, yeah, and I'm just going to use it to, like, immediately buy a bunch of luxuries that I now have on me. Like, the hunter, like, the great hunter, for example, that's probably what I would do. I'd purchase probably, like, 2 ranks of wealth, burn both of them. Like, he doesn't have that much wealth on him at any one point. He's not that wealthy, but he's got shit that he has to make his life easier. Yes, I have a seeing eyes orb where I can look into it and find what the hell I'm looking for. Or, hey, I literally have I pretty much have a one-way, I have a ticket to, like, I flash my little ticket here, and I have my loyalty card with the Songstriders Guild, so I can get on any ship I want attended by them. And no one really cares. Or, like, hey, I have a I pretty much own a company that specializes in travel. So, or hey, I foist off goods off from people that I don't really care. Like, Monopoly is literally the I'm so fucking wealthy I can do whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you. I have magic stuff. You don't have magic stuff. Ha 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 ha. Losers. God, I've been streaming for a bit now, haven't I? How long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. Fuck me. And let's see, how many left do we have? We've got 3 more. Okay, actually, do I need retinue? I think I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna say attendants and retinues. And I'm going to rewrite this section a little bit just to make my life a little bit easier here. So, the Inheritor. Almost always accompanied by their attendant or retinue. Individuals who have sworn undying loyalty to the Inheritor and the Inheritor and their missions and their mission. These individuals are capable and able to assist the Inheritor in their daily tasks. Attendants being impressive individuals who carry the weight of power on their while retinues are a mass of followers who can be ordered about. So pretty much the idea is trusted moral servants. First step, scion. Write deeds in your name. Second step, thousands of a roving court. Accompany the Inheritor on their pleasure yacht, managing every aspect of their god's life. Effectively, this would be Madam's court. She has a retinue. She has a horde of people that do whatever she wants. And if she says jump, they ask how high and what cliff. So, okay, we got the Skull Domicile. I'm going to make this a little bit, I'm going to make it its own thing because it's a little bit different from Holdings. So, the Inheritor owns a home in Skull. These estates used to house the old gods, the new gods, before the cyclical war, before the last war. Many still possess strange architecture and divinely appointed, actually divine logic behind construction. Domicile. The domicile is the home draws power to the Inheritor. The Inheritor, allowing them to further intensify their own power. And okay, I'm getting called. 1 second. Hello, everybody. I'm back, and I'm alive. So let's see. Let's go down, allowing them to further intensify their own power and abilities. Having residence in Skull also allows them to interact. Also, actually, having residence in Skull gives them a degree of authority. Degree of authority compared to inheritors. Inheritors who don't have one or simply can't afford one. Because yeah, you can be a poor ass god if you want to. Like, there's nothing saying that like wealth isn't everywhere. Like, if you don't have any panoply, you are still like you still kind of have to obey normal monetary laws. Like, if you can't afford it, you're not going to. Do you really need to worry about it though? Not really. Like, you can, like, if you clap your hands, you can still get food, but it's not like I want an entire feast for everybody on my planet to eat for a week kind of thing. Like, no, you can't do that. That ain't how it works. Yeah, sorry, Chief, that ain't, no. You don't got that. Like, if you want to eat decent food, yeah, that's fine. Having residence in Sol gives them a degree of authority compared to the inheritor who doesn't have one or simply can't afford one. Which is this is also kind of saying, like, if you don't have a house in Skull, are you really an inheritor? Yes, but a small home of a minor god, small home of a minor new god, +1 replenishment. Yeah, that's what you get. You get replenishment from this. Large home of a minor new god, +2 replenishment. Now it's going to be massive home of a minor. +3 replenishment. Small home of a major new god, +1 replenishment. This is going to be +4 replenishment. And a +1 luxury, which is going to be kind of important. Like, you have a little bit of luxury in your home. Like, your home has something that others don't. 1 luxury. Actually, the more impressive homes may also have luxuries. Luxuries as explained in panoply. So this is going to be a large home. +5 replenishment, which is going to be 2 luxury. 2 luxuries. And a massive home of a major new god is going to be a +6 replenishment. 3 luxuries. And this is going to be home of one of the 7. Home of one of the 7, +7 replenishment, and 5 luxuries. And actually, it's going to be 4 luxuries. I'm going to just put a side note there for that one. Pretty much what that's stating is you own a home of someone who was one of the last 7 people actually alive in the last war, which is fairly like, oh. Actually, the home has seen extensive work as the previous owner. Owner was one of the last 7, including Manon. Actually Manon and Rytel to fight in the last war. This isn't Manon's home. Manon's home, as he made it, the palace, the palace of purple. But yeah, you could say I own Rattel's home. Like Rattel used to live here with Lettel, and I have a bunch of issues with this kind of thing. Like, I live in a home of pretty much one of the most powerful entities ever to exist. I get a shit ton of replenishment because of it. But I also live in one of the places where, like, there's only, 6 of these available to people. And everyone knows I'm the one who owns it. And Thaumaturge is the last one. Thaumaturge, which is going to be static. So, thaumaturgy is the art of the servant races to manipulate their own inner flame to produce quote magical effects. Most Manon's kind did not favor thaumaturgy, but others such as goblins used it extensively. This is not nearly as powerful as using the core flame, but it allows the Inheritor to pull off some magical tricks to influence others. Like, this isn't really impressive magic. The fact that you have this is like, oh, that's terrifying. Like, so it's like, let's see. Actually, I should say is a minor magical tricks. Actually a heavily trained servant magician, sort of major magical tricks. Elder magician training for centuries. Impressive magical tricks. God of magical demigod. Just to give you the sheer idea of, like, normal people using thaumaturgy are using things like F-2 kind of thing. Like, it's like, I cast magic missile. You're like, oh no, whatever shall I do? And you snap your fingers and no, it just dissipates. These are also kind of a way for you to fluff your attacks as well, in some cases. So you could say, like, hey, I have thaumaturgy, rank B. Like, I can pull off some pretty impressive magical little bits. This is you clapping your hands together and, making this entire show, or lighting every candle in the area. It's things that allow you to do more impressive aspects, but it's not really... Everyone's like, okay, nice trick. But the big thing about magic, about thaumaturgy, is that it does not use the core flame. Actually, I should actually put that. The most important aspect of thaumaturgy is that it doesn't draw from the core flame, but instead it's residual energy, allowing the Inheritor to use it without compromising strength. Now, mind you, if you want to say, like, I want to use this magical trick and then put a little bit of core flame into it, then you're doing something, like, overtly, like, it's time for me to, like, I'm going to blow something up kind of thing. And that's the one thing that you should be able to fluff it as. Hey, I'm a thaumaturgy, and I'm a thaumaturgist, and I'm using, you know, a bunch of, like, paper to use my attacks. I am, like... like, it's called power. Like, power is good. So let's put you in there. Yeah, and other magicians are completely fascinated. The big thing is, like, a magician should feel like completely outclassed by you using any piece of thaumaturgy. Like, if someone can actively, like, beat your ability to use thaumaturgy, is either they're lying who they are and they actually have access to core flame, or they are a super elder magician training for literal centuries to do it, while you have rank F. It's literally, I don't care enough to train this. I do it for party tricks, versus, I have been training for my entire life to destroy you. And you're like, oh no. And then you just put like one little core flame in it, and then immediately they get annihilated. Like, okay, so we've got all of these. Okay, that took a lot longer than I was thinking it was going to be, but I'm going to call it there, because we're done with this. What we're going to do is on Wednesday, actually, you know what I'm going to do probably? Probably tomorrow, later today, I'm going to at least get abilities, like, written down and stuff. And by Wednesday, we're going to finish up everything here. We're going to finish up everything here. If I'm feeling up to it, I might stream tomorrow of me doing all this. I might not. I really don't know yet. And on Wednesday, I'm hoping on Wednesday we'll either finish all of these up or we will start on conflicts. Once we get done with conflicts, the game is pretty much done. At that point, it's just kind of like filling out various parts of it, which are important. It's like, yes, let's fill out this section. Let's fill out this section. We need to fill out the chaos junction system, which is effectively like, hey, I'm going super strong now. Like, we're clearly putting to the point where I'm going to try to destroy you. That's a chaos junction. It's not like, I'm going to fight you. Like, no, this is like, I'm dedicating everything to fight you. You're going to dedicate everything to fight me. Problem is, we're both risking everything for very little, and everything is starting to kind of break down. So that is how I'm going to do that. I'm also going to put in like some side notes up here in the lore section, which are going to be effectively, what does this mean? Well, it means this. What does this mean? Well, it means this. Well, I don't get this. Okay, this is how it works. So thank you all for watching. My name is Neopad Anon. Hope you all had a wonderful rest of your wonderful day. I will catch you all on Wednesday for the next part of God Killing Sword. So I will see you then. I am, as they say, away. Yeet.